Oh, I'm live. I'm live. Good afternoon, guys. This is Tech News that Jerome Ortega finds interesting. Episode 41, I think. Episode 41. Again, I am doing an afternoon live stream. I think this might be something I might do a little more regularly than the 9 a.m. Eastern ones and do a 3 p.m. Eastern one instead. This kind of fits my time schedule a little better. I might do it maybe a little earlier, but today 3 p.m. Eastern. I had a bunch of errands to run this morning. But yeah, let's get started. So I have a ton of news stories to go through. Now, again, typically how I do this is I pick a bunch of news, but I don't actually read through it until I do this live. So as I read the news, I'm kind of reading it with you guys, kind of sharing stuff that I found, stuff that might be interesting. If not, I'll move on to the next story. I got a bunch today. I got like 18 to 20 stories, maybe 15, but they're mostly you guys saw what I was posting in the title, but there's a lot of coronavirus stuff. And we're going to go through that because obviously that's a huge thing going on right now. Again, I hope all you guys out there are staying safe and using precautions and doing what you guys need to do. So I do want to start. So let's start. Let me share this screen. Okay. So the first story I have here is from Gizmodo. And this is in regards to Apple, right? And their iPhone 9 that they've been they haven't been talking about releasing, but Apple's iPhone that has been rumored to be released. Their quote budget or mid-range phone going for, I'm guessing, about $400. Sean, hey, what's up, man? What's going on? Welcome to the stream. I'm glad you could make it. How's it going this afternoon? Good, I hope. It's going pretty well here in Chicago. We went to vote today, so I did that earlier, right before I came. And as I was saying earlier, I'm just going through all these stories. You guys know how this goes. Brian, yo, what's up, man? How's it going? Welcome to the stream. Thanks for making it. Appreciate it. Guys, what I'm doing, I can't help but read the chat and share it. It's good in LA. Awesome, man. Is it warm out there? I kind of miss the warm weather, man. Hopefully it's going well out there. Ultra Tech, hey, what's up? What's going on? Thanks for making the stream. Ultra Tech says, I'm excited about the iPhone 9, but at this point, food and supplies have taken priority. Yes, totally agree. And actually, for me, even before that, just because I don't make as much money to like buy phones, like phones are not as high a priority as they have been. But yes, I totally understand. Food and supplies, priority, definitely. Because you got a working phone now, probably don't need another one right now. So Sean says CV is scaring people in the boots. Yeah, man. It's pretty bad out here too. Things are empty. Even when I'm walking here in the city, people are trying to like make sure they distance themselves and out of respect. I get that. I totally get that. The stuff is spreading like crazy. So again, be safe out there, guys. Okay, so let's oh, sorry. It's like as soon as I go, it's like I see Chad and I want to talk to you guys. So don't mind me. It's raining for the past 3 days. Oh man. It's actually been pretty nice here in Chicago. It hasn't been that bad. Well, hopefully that rain passes. So I'm sure you guys need it anyway. JXT King Droid. Hey, welcome to the chat, man. Appreciate you. Not the chat, but the stream or both. In Texas as well, there's no Walmart with toilet paper. Yeah. The news org I work with, we were just talking about this yesterday. Supplies are gone everywhere. Everybody's in a pretty big panic mode. And, we had someone on our team. Her name is Lainey, and she's great at kind of sharing this stuff out. And she made a good point yesterday or the other day. She was doing a PSA about coronavirus. And this is actually, we're going to talk about this later. There's a couple stories to talk about here. But she was saying sometimes the reason people buy a lot of these supplies or food or whatever is it kind of gives them control, right? Like it makes them feel like they're kind of control in the situation, which I understand, but like that kind of stuff, like hoarding stuff, is also leading into a bunch of people just getting aggravated with each other. I hear stories about people fighting over things, and it's crazy. It is. It's really crazy out there. Yeah, Brian saying, same here in New York, no toilet paper. Locked down San Fran for 3 weeks. Sean says they exaggerated the precautions. They act like everyone get HIV or having raw sex 24/7. I get it, man. I get it. I mean, I understand too. It's like people are trying to be precautious or whatever. Be cautious. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. It's just you know it's hard because it's like we got to be good neighbors to people, we got to be good people to each other. And it's also kind of weird because at the same time I also feel like a lot of people are in this like me kind of attitude right now, like um every man for himself, and it's kind of weird, and it's kind of it's a little unsettling. But let's go into these stories. We will get into coronavirus stuff in a bit, but I do want to talk about the iPhone 9 here from Apple, because this was a phone I was actually thinking about getting, especially if it's under the $500 price point I'm looking for. So it says here, report Apple plans to release cheap iPhone 9 Plus. And so the 9 Plus is something new that I'm hearing about with Touch ID this spring. So code snippets in iOS 14 appear to show that Apple is working on an iPhone 9 Plus to complement the budget model iPhone 9 rumored to be in development. When they say budget model, are they saying budget as in $400? Because in Android's world, $400 is usually their mid-range price point. So maybe budget for Apple, but not really budget in terms of like the Android world. According to 9 to 5 Mac, evidence indicates, in quotes, that both the larger and smaller version of the iPhone 9 will still use the A13 Bionic chip, which makes me happy to hear if that's what they're going to do, used in the iPhone 11 line. The site also wrote that the phone will feature a solid-state home button running on the Taptic engine, similar to the one on the iPhone 7 and iPhone 8, which I can't argue with either. I was really happy with the home button on the iPhone, although I'm really happy with my Face ID on the iPhone 11 Pro. This year for the iPhone, I felt like facial recognition works a lot better than when it originally came out on the iPhone 10. So it says here, we'll still support Apple Pay and Express Transit contactless payment systems, as well as scanning of NFC tags without having to open an app. The iPhone 9 tagline is speculative, and given that Apple skipped from iPhone 8, right, because we don't know if iPhone 9 is going to be the name for it or not. The unconfirmed phone has also been nicknamed the iPhone SE2. Part of me thinks here that Apple is just going to rename this thing. I don't know if they're going to call it the iPhone 9. It really doesn't make a lot of sense to call it the iPhone 9, or at least I don't think so. I don't know. They might have a different name for it. Like, I don't know. I've seen people tout around the name iPhone Classic, which sounds kind of cool. I just don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure. So let's see here. Yeah, iPhone 9 would launch by the end of March. Oh, so in 2 weeks? Less than 2 weeks, and retail for $399, while history indicates that any plus-sized version would cost about $100 more. So $499 for an iPhone 9 Plus. 5.7-inch. That price point, I have to see what kind of camera they put in there. If they put the iPhone 11 camera, this is something I've been saying for a while. If they put the iPhone 11 camera in this budget iPhone 9 phone or whatever they call it, I think it's going to be a big hit. The launch date is currently expected as sometime this spring, possibly alongside or after the release of iOS 13.4. However, the ongoing coronavirus pandemic has severely disrupted global supply chains. Hardware shortages of all kinds have been reported throughout the tech world, which is very true. And again, is something I'm going to go into a little bit later into this hour. And now Apple's Worldwide Developers Conference 2020 has been moved online due to health concerns, so that timetable may longer be the case. So I do have another follow-up on here from 9 to 5 Mac. Sorry. iOS 14 code confirms Apple planning iPhone 9 Plus with A13 as larger version of rumored entry level model. Oh, so similar story. I just want to see if there's anything different on here at all. So we already knew some details about iPhone 9, 4.7-inch LCD display with a home button, Touch ID. First of all, it seems that Apple's also working on a larger version of the iPhone 9, which may be named iPhone 9 Plus, or at least the plus moniker of whatever Apple dubs this line. So a 4.7-inch version, a 5.5-inch version, with an A13 Bionic chip. Again, my question here is what kind of camera they're going to put in it. I'm pretty happy with whatever specs they put. I don't know. Well, actually, I wonder how much storage size they're going to put in this too. What is it going to start with? Is it going to start with 64 gigs, or is it going to start with less than that? I would hate to see it be less than that. Hopefully not. What's this update say? In a related note, we can confirm the 4th generation iPad Pro will be released in 4 variants. That's cool. I'm not an iPad person. I haven't really used them. So, sure, there's a good number of you guys that do use it, but it's not for me. I'm more interested in like what's going on with this iPhone 9, iPhone 9 Plus. It also makes me think that if this iPhone 9 or iPhone 9 Plus not only comes with the A13 Bionic chip, but comes with the shooter from the iPhone 11, I don't know, man. I think that's going to be a really hard, I don't know. I think it's just going to be the better phone versus whatever the Pixel 4a comes out with. That's what I think, especially with the A13 chip, because they're going to put an A13 chip there versus whatever Google's going to put, Snapdragon 700 something series. I just don't think it's going to be able to compete performance wise. Okay, let's get into the comments. So let me see here. Sean. Okay, so cheap for Apple is $800. Yeah, well, they're saying 400. So let's see here. JXT King Droid says, what do you think about the Galaxy Note 11? Note 20? I think I have a little article here. I'm a little confused about how this successor for the Note 10 is going to be. I think because I look at the S20 Ultra and then I'm like, well, what are they going to change differently about the Note 20 or Note 11 or whatever? They're just going to add an S Pen to it. Is it going to be pretty much the same after that? I don't know. Well, at least what would you like the Samsung Note 11 to have? I don't know. Because you know what? The S20 Ultra has high-end specs, but I keep seeing issues with like camera stuff on it. I'm a big camera guy, so I always expect the camera to be top notch, especially when it comes to the price. Samsung's always going to have a great display, great build quality, a lot of great things. I am not a big fan of its UI, although I've heard it's been better. But yeah, I don't know too much, but I think you do have an article about that a little later on. Krishna, hey guys, hey Krishna, welcome to the stream, man. Thanks for making it. Hope you can hang around for a little bit and chat with us. Let's see here. Krishna also says iPhone SE recycled iPhone 5S was acceptable in 2016, but if Apple recycles the 678 design for the 9, it's not acceptable at all. Yeah, that's a big toss up for people because a lot of people don't want that big bezel in the front, right? They don't want this right here. This is a huge bezel from what most designs are coming out with now. But I think at $400, I think a lot of people from Apple who are in the Apple ecosystem, like I have friends right now who are still using old school iPhone 5S's, I think, just older phones. And when I told them that a $400 phone might be coming out, they're like, that's probably what I'm going to get. Like, because their budget is not $8,000-$9,000, right? They're looking at something cheaper. So, and then there's a lot of people that still want Touch ID. So yeah, give or take. I think I don't know. Yeah, that depends on the person, I think. Tech for your needs. Hello, folks. Hey, Tech for your needs. Welcome to the chat, man. Thanks for making the stream. Glad you can make it. Hope everything's going well. So let's see here. Sean says $400 base model for iPhone 9 is not including 128 gigs. Yeah, no, for sure not. Will $400 include 64 gigs though? Or is that going to be 32 gigs? That I don't know. JXT King Droid says Samsung kind of screwed me up with jumping all the way up to the S20. I know. That's why when you said Note 11, I'm like, did I forget? Was there a Note 11? But no, yeah. I'm guessing they're going to say Note 20 on this one too. At least that's my thought. They try to stay, I guess, in sync, right, with the Galaxy S line. So Galaxy S20, Galaxy Note 20. That's what I think is coming, but we'll see. Okay, so moving on, we're gonna get into some of this coronavirus stuff. I don't know how much time I'm really gonna spend on it, but a lot of this is about misinformation, and this is something that I think we should just talk about. So, in fast-moving pandemic, sources of falsehoods spread by text, email, WhatsApp, and TikTok elude authorities. So, misleading text messages claiming that President Trump was going to announce a national quarantine buzzed into cell phones across the country over the weekend, underscoring how rapidly false claims are spreading and how often it's happening beyond the familiar misinformation vehicles of Facebook and Twitter. So the false text spread so widely that on Sunday night, the White House's National Security Council, fearing the texts were an attempt to spook the stock market as it opened Monday. This is another thing that I have an issue with. I know everyone's talking about the stock market and the economy, and yes, it's going to take a tank. It's going to tank because everything is just messed up right now. But I feel like as important as people want to make that, I think right now the most important thing is the health of the people, that we work as a people and that we do good amongst each other. This economy, stock market stuff, I don't really care about. I mean, you guys are entitled to if you want to, especially if you're in stocks or whatever, but like money is not my biggest concern right now. It really isn't. Actually, I haven't even seen this text stuff. Text message rumors of a national hashtag quarantine are fake. There's no national lockdown. Yeah, but then I know there are also other states that are doing curfews, right? I think from like 10 p.m. or 8 p.m. until 5 a.m. Like you can only go out at certain time, or you can't go out during those certain times. I don't know what putting a curfew at night is going to change in terms of spreading. Maybe because you go do stuff in the day and then they just don't want the spread to. I don't know. So yeah, I have a bunch of coronavirus stuff. So I'm just going to kind of run through this. Facebook, Reddit, Google, LinkedIn, Microsoft, Twitter, and YouTube issued joint statement on misinformation in an unprecedented move to reassure customers and flag the potential for misinformation about COVID-19 on their platforms. All of the major social media companies and their parent corporations issued a joint statement on their efforts. Actually, I haven't even read this yet. We invite other companies to join us as we work to keep our communities healthy and safe. Let's see, we're helping millions of people stay connected while also jointly combating fraud and misinformation about the virus, elevating authoritative content on our platforms, and sharing critical updates in coordination with government healthcare agencies around the world. We invite other companies to join us, blah, blah, blah. Okay, which is great. I'm glad that bigger companies are working together to make sure that misinformation does not spread. That's important. There's so much unknown right now. And again, on my news org, we have someone dedicated working on coronavirus stuff. And the way she puts it is, Lainey is on our team. Lainey says that it's dynamic, right? It's always changing. It's ever changing. They're changing policies. They're changing rules. They're changing things like this whole curfew thing that's going out. It's crazy because here in Chicago, we still have public transit, right? Like I still ride the bus. I still ride the train to get by because that's the cheaper way to get around in this city. And again, it's earlier today when I was going for a walk, I mean, people are trying to distance themselves, and I get that. And I respect that because we just don't know. I mean, hell, when I see my mom or I see my uncle or my aunt who are getting up there in age, I make sure to keep my space between them because I might be okay. I mean, there's that case with Donovan Mitchell, right? Who plays for the Utah Jazz. I think that's right. I haven't been up with my NBA in a while, but an NBA player who showed zero symptoms but was positive. So I think that's the bigger concern is you show no symptoms and you walk around like it's no big deal while you might be infecting others. And I think that's where the fear comes in. So yeah, it just looks like all these are just working together to make sure that we share correct info. Facebook's efforts to fight disinformation. Here's the thing too. Here's a weird thing for me about disinformation, right? So they're working really hard not to make sure that there is misinformation, disinformation when it comes to the coronavirus? Why are we not making sure that we don't spread misinformation about political stuff, right? Like, and I know I have been very heavily involved lately in politics, but that kind of stuff is what makes the rules in our world. That's what affects prices for things. That's what affects like our healthcare and just everything that we do. Just not just in tech, but it's like, man, we should just have sites that just give us proper information. And I think that's what my news org, that's what I'm even trying to do at this point, is make sure that we share correct, accurate information about stuff. Okay, moving on. Again, it's I have a whole bunch of stuff about coronavirus stuff, so we're just gonna go through it. I'm not gonna like sit here and spend through it. I'll get to chat in a second, but let me just see what other stories I have here. I'll chime in a second here. So Amazon to sellers, we're not stocking non-essential items during coronavirus outbreak. Don't know what this is about. Amazon is making big changes to what it stocks in its warehouses. On Tuesday, Amazon sent a memo to its third-party sellers stating that it would no longer be accepting non-essential products from those vendors to ship from its warehouses. This is a move to free up inventory space for products in high demand due to the virus. I'm glad to see that Amazon is doing that, like medical and household goods. To be clear, Amazon will continue selling all the items it usually does, including those from its many sellers. However, if Amazon's inventory of non-essential items, such as toys and books, run out during this time period, sellers will have to ship the items to buyers themselves. Fair enough. I'm just looking to see if there's any big notes here. The company recently announced it's planning to hire 100,000 more workers to keep up with the demand. It also said it would raise workers' wages by $2 an hour until the end of April. I mean, I understand why like we need more people to ship stuff out, but it also concerns me about having so many people and how's that stuff going to spread? Like today I voted, right? Here in Illinois, they didn't postpone the voting process. I voted. And they didn't postpone it, and it was kind of weird. I was a little surprised they didn't postpone voting until later, but I went because I wanted to vote. And I mean, props to everybody who was working in there, because there was a line. There were people waiting, and I was waiting in line. There was a line, and when you're just that close to that many people, and with the way this infection is spreading, it's a little scary. Again, we don't know all the details, but I just be careful. That's really all I feel, all I want to say, how I feel about it. So however, some current Amazon workers are voicing concerns about their own health and safety, and fair enough, right? Employees have complained that the company isn't doing enough to provide its workers with hand sanitizer, disinfectant wipes, and protective masks. More than 1,500 Amazon employees have signed a petition demanding paid sick leave. They don't get paid sick leave, childcare pay, time and a half hazard pay, facility shutdown if a coworker tests positive for COVID-19, and more. This is something that really upsets me. Like, they're a huge company. They make billions and billions, if not more, in profit. And like the workers here, the guys that are like in the front line, taking care of stuff, making sure that packages get to us, I feel like they're the ones that are getting mistreated the most. It's sad. Okay, let me kind of get into the chat here. No. Gar Trigger. I'm like looking for new names here. Gar Trigger, hello, hi. How's it going, man? Welcome to the stream, Gar. Krishna says I'm gonna be triggered if they're gonna call the S21 as S30. I know, right? Who's doing that again? Is that Huawei that does it? I forget now. That just goes up in tens instead of like by ones. Sean, I'm getting the OnePlus 8 Pro and call it a day. I can't really go wrong with that. Gar also says excited for the Pixel 4a. I mean, I am too. I'm just hoping to see that. I'm hoping it comes out well. I'm hoping that the chipset, the Snapdragon 7, is it 730? I think is going to be good, or 765. I can't remember now. Anyway, Tech for Your Needs says if it comes with 32 gigs, that's a hard pill to swallow. That is to buy, because nowadays people are photoholics. Yeah, and for me, like videoholics. I use a lot of video on my phone. Gar says 128 gigs should be the base. I agree. JXT King Droid says, Card Tiger, I'm not a big fan of the Pixel 4. To me, it just doesn't feel like a premium made phone. I mean, that's the thing. It's not going to be premium made, especially at that price. 64 gigs in 2020. Yeah. Stocks are stocks. They go up and down. Just don't invest your entire paycheck on a long-term investment. I agree, Krishna. Or if you're like me, you're broke and you can't even buy any stocks. So yeah. Brian says, I get by low storage with the USB-C flash drive, which is great. I just don't want to carry something else. You know what I mean, Brian? Like the last thing I want is to carry, I already carry 2 phones on me. I don't want to carry 2 phones and a USB-C flash drive. But then again, I mean, I have a backpack. I carry a backpack with me 99.9% of the time. But in my backpack, I have my DSLR. I have multiple lenses. I have a lot more stuff. I have my MacBook Pro in there. It's just so much stuff. Gar says, I'm not really interested on premium phones. I'm a budget consumer. And actually, Gar, that's kind of where I'm going at lately. I don't really want to pay for anything more than $500 for a phone shipped. Like, I don't want to buy a phone for $499 and pay tax and shipping. Like, I would like to get a phone delivered right to my doorstep for $500. Will, what's up, Will? Where you been, man? You're a little late. Just giving you a hard time. I know you work the night shift, so it's a little harder for you. Christian says Google's trying to hit the Nexus fans with the quote A series. 3A was a hit, so they're doing it again. If it was a flop, we would have never seen a 4A update. I agree. What are they going to do with the Pixel 5 though? I'm going to be talking about that. So yeah, 4A, great price. It looks like it's going to have really good specs, I hope. But what about the 5? What are they going to do for the Pixel 5? Because the Pixel 4 was an expensive phone that had okay specs, had a less than average battery, and JXT King Droid says at least gas prices are low. It's $1.47 in some parts of Texas. That's super cheap. I mean, here in Chicago, gas was still $2.49, I think, for the cheapest. Yeah, something like that. Hopefully the next A series will feature an ultra wide cam. Oh, do you really think they're going to do that though? I don't know. Remember that guy who air quotes ultra wide cameras? Who did I do that? Are we talking about someone? Oh yeah. Are we talking about that press event? I can't remember. Sean, politics is cancer to the world and epidemics. Yeah, I you know how I feel about politics is I feel like politics is our everyday thing, right? It rules so much in our world. I think the issue with it is misinformation, just like this whole coronavirus thing. People don't know the real facts because politicians are really good at lying about everything, or kind of like narrating a story so they can like form it in their way. It's just it's a big mess, and I feel like we need to fix that. Yeah, Krishna said the guy in the Google presentation, ultra wide. Yeah, right. George, hey George, good afternoon. How's it going? I'm probably messing your time up again, right? Since I'm streaming in the afternoon. Sup, I get to drop in while I'm waiting for some 4K and 8K videos to process on my computer in the middle of editing, as you can guess. Well, hopefully the editing goes well. 8K editing, that's crazy. I don't even edit my videos in 4K. I edit them in 1080p still because I feel like they're pretty decent. But I look forward to seeing them. So let's see here. Oh God, there's a lot of thanks guys for being very engaging in the chat. I like it. Guard Trigger says ultra wide is greater than telephoto. It's you know what, I find myself using ultra wide a lot more than telephoto. I really do. Something that I never really thought I would use, but I do. I use ultra wide a lot lately. Krishna says telephoto can be easily achieved by computational photography. That's the whole selling point of the Pixel 1 and 2, but not ultra wide. Very good point. G-Boy 888. Hey, welcome to the stream, man. How's it going? How you doing? Welcome. UBI. I hear ya. Andrew Yang Gang. I have certain thoughts on that. I'm not gonna get into all of it right now, but yes, we there's a lot of issues we need to fix. We really do. JXT, liquor is the world's medication. As you say that, I have like a whole case of beer right here next to me. You guys can't see it, but like we drink a lot here at the News Hour. We don't drink that much. We drink a lot during debates and like when we're here for long hours. But I do have beer right next to me. Boy, yeah, UBI. Sean says doctors are getting treated like garbage in serious situations. Yes, there's just the way I feel about it right now, especially with everything going on, is like, let's remember, right? Like everybody, I understand people are hoarding stuff, and it's like you see it, and it's just a crazy sight, and people are like fighting over things, and people are getting very just dude, we got to be good to people, man. Like we let's remember we all probably think very similarly about what's going on. And I know that some people are like, me right now, but goddamn guys, like I don't know. It's I can't answer all these issues about what's going on. Six, whoa. Get that recorder ready, Six. Six is if you guys don't know, Six is really good at recording like little gaffes or little missteps that YouTubers make, tech YouTubers, and then he'll record it, and then we'll play it back later to make fun. I said something on my last stream that I didn't mean to say, and it came off really wrong, and Six was there to make sure to clip that. Oops. Tech for your needs, videographer and photography are going to be affected by the virus. There's income going to go down. That's hard if that's where most of your income is from. So here's the thing, tech for your needs is I actually just got hired for a photography gig. I am doing a side job right now for a photography thing for a big brand company. And yeah, I'm a little worried because there were things I was supposed to shoot and it didn't happen. And it's because stuff got canceled. And so things are, yeah, it's affecting me too. I mean, I have my hand in a lot of things. I'm doing this live stream. I work with my news org, and then I have my photography gig now on the side, which is like a legit paid gig. And there's a lot of things I can't shoot for them right now because events and stuff are not being around. So yeah, I don't know. Gboy888, yeah, bro, good to see you again. I'm still here holding them down at the LBC. I miss the LBC, man. I'm not gonna lie. I do miss Cali. I was in San Diego a couple weeks ago, and it was nice to just kind of, to see palm trees. I miss palm trees. Don't get me wrong. I love Chicago, and this is my home, and this is where I plan on staying. But I do miss Southern Cali here and there. Okay, so let's see. Ryan says, yep, healthcare is trashed right now. Yep, it is. You're talking to someone that hasn't had healthcare in 2.5 years. I haven't gone to a proper doctor in 2.5 years. The last time I did go to a doctor was a couple months ago because I had a concern about like a skin thing. Just, it was like a small bump. And they're like, yeah, that could be cancerous. So we got to turn that in. And I paid, I think $600 for them to remove just a little like skin graft that was like on my cheek. And it was like $300 to get thankfully it was nothing, but it was, at the end of the day, I paid almost $1,000, right? Because I don't have health insurance. Like, I don't make money either. So that's very tough. It's very tough. George says they're lucky to have you as a photographer, in my opinion. George, thanks. I appreciate that. I do take a lot of pride in my work lately, and that means a lot to me. So thank you. Krishna, good luck with that new job, Jerome. Krishna, thanks, man. Again, I appreciate that, guys. It means a lot to me. Working as like a freelancer, doing like artistic stuff is not the most lucrative thing, unless, you end up, anyway, let's go on. I'm like, what time? Oh my God, it's been half. Okay, let's move on here. Microsoft closes all of its stores due to coronavirus risk. It says it'll keep paying its employees as normal. Thank you, Microsoft, for doing that, because the livelihood for a lot of people, especially with the way things are right now, it's going to be tough. And it's good to see them do that. I'm not going to go through this whole thing because there's a lot of this stuff going on. So Apple explains how returns and repairs will work while its retail stores are closed, which is interesting. I remember reading about this. They were saying that if you break your phone and then you try to get it repaired, it might not come back for a couple of weeks because everything's just in shortage right now. Apple announced on Friday that all of its retail stores outside China are closed until March 27th to help prevent the spread of the novel coronavirus. Now, the company has posted a new fact with information about updated return policies, repair instructions, and more. One key thing to know is that most returns will now be accepted up to 14 days after the stores reopen. Apple normally only allows returns for up to 14 days after purchase. That's great on Apple's part, but since you can't actually return products to a store right now, if you aren't aren't in China, Apple's giving a longer grace period to bring something back to the store. Great. I'm glad to see that. So you could still send your stuff to repair and like do all this stuff. If you guys are interested in that, there's an article here in The Verge, on The Verge. You just look for it or ask me if you guys need to look for it, if you need to return anything. But good to see Apple trying to just work with everyone here. YouTube warns of increased video removals during COVID-19 crisis. Again, so we're talking about coronavirus. YouTube today warned its creator community that video removals may increase during the COVID-19 pandemic. The company said its systems today rely on a combination of technology followed by a human review, but the current health crisis is leading to reduced in-office staffing in certain sites, which means automated systems will be removing some YouTube content without human review, which makes me wonder if they're going to remove this, because I've been saying coronavirus, I've been saying COVID-19 a lot. I don't know. I don't know how YouTube feels about it. I don't know how their algorithm is. Like, YouTube hates me right now anyway. They don't show my shit to anybody. So again, this is why I'm very thankful for you guys for coming by, for, stopping by in the chat, hanging out. It means a lot to me. Today, YouTube utilizes machine learning technology to flag potentially harmful content, which is then sent to human moderators for review. We have teams at YouTube as well as partner companies that help us support and protect the YouTube community, blah, blah, blah. Pretty much they're saying your video might be removed on YouTube because they don't have people to do an actual human review. And it might just get removed by AI. And I think they're just warning people about it. So, okay. So that's all the coronavirus stuff I have, because I tried to like group it together. So let's see here. JXT, I had a complete facial recognition. What were we talking about that came to that? And it was over $500,000. And just, oh my God. I thought for some reason when you said facial recognition, I thought you were just talking about facial recognition on a phone. That's crazy. $500,000 in medical. Do you have insurance? I don't. Wow. Everyone's going to be demonetized. Yeah, I'm not. I don't even really make much money on YouTube anymore at all. It's one of those things where it's like, that's why I'm just trying to move away from the whole thing. Like, I still want to make videos. I still want to make great content. I actually have another channel in mind that I might start working on, because as much as I love tech, I love other stuff too. And I make videos with my news org. I live stream with them, and that's great. But I actually have this other thing I want to do, and I'm going to try to put it all together. We'll see. Oh, okay. Yeah. Reconstruction. Hey man. Hopefully that went okay. Hopefully you're well. The medical bills though, it's crazy. That's what I'm saying is we don't 500,000. Like, how are you even going to pay that? How are you are you even going to be able to pay that in your lifetime? It was crazy. This is crazy. Let's see. Krishna says, stick to calling it just novel or virus. Yeah, you know what? My team, my news org, they like to call it Kavefi 19, or they'll call it Beardemic. But you know what? Here's the thing: is like I'm that kind of person that does not. Yes, like, it's great to get paid, to get, not to get demonetized, but like, man, I just want to be me, right? Like, I want to share news, I want to share my opinion, and I don't want to I don't know. I just don't want to go through this weird red tape to just be me, right? Like, I think that's what I pride myself on, is I've always just tried to be myself and like be weird or be funny in my own sort of way, and not kind of like bow down to other people. So yeah, the one thing I do try to stop though is I try not to swear as much. And I don't know. I mean, it's something I do a lot, and I do a lot of that off camera, but I'm trying to be better about that on camera here. So anyway, George says you're going to need a clone if you start another channel. No, I actually plan on starting that channel next week. I think I was going to start it today, but probably next week. Marshall, hey Marshall, what's up, man? It's nice to see you on the stream. I feel like people are on the stream because they're either working from home or what, but either way, thanks for making it, man. I've been out of the loop for a while, so forgive me if you already discussed this. Do you think rollable phones, TCL, could actually get popular? Rollable phones, what am I missing here with rollable? Foldable? I I don't know if you're talking about foldable. I don't know if foldable phones could actually get popular. I've said this before, but I think the only thing that I've actually liked about a foldable phone is the fact that if I watch a live stream, I could watch the video on the top half of the phone, and then on the second half of the phone, I could go through the comments. I think that's the coolest thing about having a foldable phone is that. I am sure there's going to be a ton of other uses for it. I just haven't seen it yet. I also don't see myself paying that much money because it's a lot of money for one of those, man. A lot of money. They need to make a YouTube competitor with better wages for the content creators. It might be Amazon or someone else. They do. I have considered doing Twitch. Since I've been doing a lot of live streams, I was thinking about doing Twitch and maybe cutting those up and then putting them on here. I don't know. I haven't really. I have so much going on that I haven't really thought that over, but I really do need to rehaul my YouTube stuff. I just need to figure out how to do it. Will says no, it gets rolled up. Wait, like an actual like a fruit roll up phone? Do you just throw it in your pocket? This is how out of touch I think I've been lately with tech because I haven't even a rollable phone. Really? Look up the TCL. I'm gonna do that right now. Hold on here. Let me do that real quick. TCL rollable phone. Electronics maker TCL just unveiled a new concept smartphone with a rollable display. What? Hold on. There's a bunch of pop-ups. God damn it. Wait, guys. I just The Verge. Here, The Verge will give me a better. Okay, let me share what I'm seeing. Well, wait, trifold. The first wave of foldable devices. I'm going to trifold. Well, no, this one's different. Okay, wait. Android Authority, TCL rollable concept. Oh, rollable like that. Okay, first of all, look at that. Look at that glare right there. Did you see that? That is no. This reminds me of like using a projector. That's a weird. Well, wait, this isn't. That's not the real screen. So maybe that's not how this. But like you see that. Maybe it's just paper. I don't know. I guess I'd have to see how that final product would be. When you said rollable, I thought you were gonna like roll it up into like a piece of paper and then throw it in your pocket. Um, Again, I could see that as extra real estate when you need it, but I don't. That's so weird. That's weird. What does this say? Um, TCL's new rollable concept phone starts off looking like a pretty average smartphone with a 6.75 inch display. Use the right gesture, however, and it expands to a 7.8 inch tablet. Unlike most foldables, which open or close like a book or clamshell, the new rollable concept, that's kind of cool. Uh, that's kind of cool. And it uses a motor to expand the chassis. So there's another issue though, right? Is how long is that motor going to last? Think about the motor that they put on the selfie camera on the OnePlus phones. That's why they haven't been implementing it since, I think, because I think there's fear about the motor not lasting. I mean, I think there's also fear about like stuff getting into it, like shit falling into it when the motor comes up. But that's interesting. That's a new concept that I wasn't even familiar with. Unfortunately, we were only to play with a dummy unit that had no working motor, not even a working display. Yeah. So yeah, I guess I would have to see the final product. That's pretty cool though, if it actually works that way. I'm just trying to think about sturdiness or whatever, but maybe in a pinch when you need it. Um, I don't know. I don't know. Interesting. Okay, let me see. That's a completely new story I wasn't even going to talk about, but that's real interesting. So tech for your needs. What channel are you planning to start? First time hearing. Yeah, I actually was talking about it on my Patreon. So I am actually planning to start a channel about fasting, like a fitness healthy. So for you guys that don't know, this is something I wanted to talk about. I'm not going to get into it here because I might even make a video about it on my channel eventually. But if you guys don't know, like I lost 70 pounds in like 5 months. Yeah. And I did a lot of that through fasting, and I'm going to leave it there because I'm not going to get into it right now. Cause there's a lot of stuff and a lot of people don't know a lot about it. And I feel like I could share a lot and share my experience with it, but it's kind of like a combined fasting channel with like a mukbang channel. Cause I, yeah, we'll leave it there. We'll leave it there. George says MKBHD did a video about a rollable phone yesterday. I haven't been able to watch it yet. If I watch other tech, I need to watch other tech YouTubers. I really don't. It's funny because I'm in a tech chat with like Will and George and Mike and Six is in there, and they'll send other videos about other tech YouTubers, and I'm like, I don't really keep up. It's weird. Like I a big reason I don't keep up with a lot of other tech YouTubers is so I stay unbiased. Sometimes there's that whole like everyone's drumming the same beat, right? They watch one tech YouTuber do a video about the Galaxy S20, then the next one says the exact same thing, then the next, or they just say it in a different way, and they're just like feeding off of each other. And that's why like I try to stay away from that, because I don't want to, I'm not saying that there isn't good information, because there is, but I also want to like go into a phone completely like blind, right? Like just learning my own stuff on it. Yeah, Marshall says it's just a concept. It's still pretty cool though. TCL made a phone that rolls. It's interesting. Thank you guys for sharing what it is, because I had no idea. Just a concept. It looks like a W. Yeah, G boy, fasting, awesome. Intermittent fasting is my life for 2 years, and it keeps me in a good. Yeah, man. Again, I'm not gonna try to like sit here and talk about intermittent fasting, because I know most people aren't in here for that. But yes, I do. So I've been doing intermittent fasting for years, but I started doing extended fasting, and that's why I want to make a channel on it. Because so for you guys that don't know, there are times where I don't eat for 3 days. There are times I don't eat for 7 days. But again, maybe I'll leave it for future channel stuff. Just FYI. Okay, so I guess I didn't. Oh no, wait. Yeah, let's go into this, and I'll go into the Motorola Edge Plus. So Israel's using cell phone data to track the coronavirus, which is a little weird for me because I feel like that really invades privacy stuff. But Benjamin Netanyahu, I always say that, I can't. Netanyahu has authorized the Shin Bet, Israel's internal security agency, to use cell phone location data to help combat the coronavirus. The data will be used to retrace the movements of individuals who test positive for the virus and identify others who should be quarantined. This is a weird issue for me, because it's like, yes, I understand we need to like make sure that curve doesn't keep going up and it kind of flattens out. But this is, I have really weird feelings on this, because I just don't know the power or abuse that this might cause. The agency has permission to use the data, which the Shin Bet has collected from Israeli carriers since at least 2002, for the next 30 days. We must preserve the balance between individual rights and general needs, and we are doing so, Netanyahu said yesterday. I don't know. While this is the first high-profile instance of a government using cell phone tracking for public health purposes, what's funny about this is it says first high-profile instance for public. It's funny because I see that and I'm like, yeah, but how many people are secretly doing this to a lot of us? Anyway, so last year, Motherboard reported that AT&T, T-Mobile, and Sprint have sold customer location data to data sellers who sold it to over 250 bounty hunters and related. Okay, so exactly what I mean. Like we should still have our rights for privacy, and I know there's a lot of people that say, well, if I don't do anything, then I have nothing to hide. And I get that to an extent, but man, I just, people might use that shit for like nefarious reasons. I have a weird view on that. I don't call it a weird view, but just a very like, I'm cautious about it. So, okay. I saw this article on Fandroid. I don't think I saw any other articles talking about this. Maybe they have and I just missed it, but the Motorola Edge Plus images are revealed in new leak. The Motorola Edge Plus, a device we expected to be unveiled at Mobile World Congress last month, is still under wraps. Give me a second. While we don't have official specs, price, or a launch date, we do have a handful of stunning new images thanks to AvLeaks. The new Motorola Edge Plus image shows off the phone from pretty much every angle. I mean, that looks pretty cool, giving us a good look at the curved display and prominent camera bump on the back of the phone. The Edge Plus is like the Galaxy Edge. I wonder how well, it goes all the way here. Now, how is this going to affect touch response and stuff? Um, wow. Okay. 108 megapixel. Okay. With the with the Motorola Edge Plus, the company is expected to break with its recent trend and finally give us a true flagship smartphone. Thanks, Motorola. I've been waiting for a good Motorola phone for a while. I mean, I don't know if this is it. I'm still wondering how well this is going to work in terms of UI and like warping or whatever, but company is expected to break with its recent trend and finally give us a true flagship smartphone. Qualcomm Snapdragon 865, 5G connectivity, 8 gigs or 12 gigs of RAM, a curved 6.7-inch AMOLED display, and a triple camera system that includes the same 108 megapixel sensor that Samsung's using on the S20 Ultra. Wow. The phone looks to be the best device Motorola has released in years. While there will be quite a few similarities between the Motorola Edge Plus and flagship devices from Samsung and LG, Motorola could stand out from the pack with some aggressive pricing, something it hasn't been shy about in the past. What's that pricing going to be? Um, what is a device like this with very top end specs, right? Snapdragon 865, 8 gigs, 12 gigs of RAM, and then this display. I mean, I don't know how good Motorola's cameras have been lately, but 5,000 milliamp hour battery. How much is this going to go for? Um, that's aggressive pricing. I guess that's to be seen, right? Is what that's really going to be. Let me see here. Marshall says I prefer slowing. You mean slowing down to eat? Because that's what I'm bad at. I'm not good at that. uh, G Voice says Motorola, why curved edges? Yeah, again, I have my reservations. I do. And then George with the $2 super chat. George, thanks so much, man. Appreciate the support. It means a lot to me. You guys know it always does. You guys coming in here already means the world to me. And for you guys to kind of go that extra length there, or extra step or mile or whatever with the super chat means a lot. And I guess at that point, I should also say, hey guys, if you haven't already, please feel free to like this video. I always hear liking this video helps with the algorithm, although I don't know if that's true. But feel free to like, share it, subscribe if you haven't. Again, any kind of support means a lot to me, and I'm always very thankful for it. So again, George, thanks a lot, man. Again, how many times do I have to say it? It means a lot, but it does. I wish this was Android One. Yes, so do I. I guess it's not gonna be, but yeah. Brian says here, yeah, curved edges are annoying. I feel yeah. I'm just not sure. Krishna says Moto by Lenovo has been so bad with updates lately, except for the Android One phones. This feels like an Oppo phone from Lenovo. So here's the thing too, Krishna, is when Lenovo took over Moto, I kind of lost interest because I just didn't know where they were going to go, and I haven't really been happy with what they've been putting out. Android One seems like the only thing that's worthwhile for a phone if you want like a very clean UI experience. And I haven't even had a chance to use Android One yet, but I will. Okay, so oh god, it's just there's so much coronavirus stuff that I guess I forgot to put in this whole other bank of stuff. So your US carriers will forgive late payments and keep customers connected during coronavirus fallout. Thank you for whoever's doing that. But it says here, update Sprint. Verizon announced in a press release that it will be closing some physical Verizon stores. Okay. Mint Mobile, free unlimited data. That's great, Mint. I've used Mint, and I was pretty happy with their service. It's been pretty consistent, just like T-Mobile. That's what they run off of, are the T-Mobile towers. Sprint actions. I don't know what that means. Cellular carriers have earned many negative impressions over the years for poor billing practices, yes. Unfair contracts, yes. And some dubious attempts to insert themselves where they might not belong. Yes, although I'm not sure where they're going anyway. But there's no denying they have had a good track record for giving a little back in times of crisis. But yeah, why do they only give back? In light of the spread of COVID-19, carriers in the US are committing to give more data to subscribers and relax their billing practices so people can focus on more important things. I mean, I'm seeing this not only with mobile for these utilities, but also like electric and stuff like that. I think some banks have been more forgiving for car notes that are getting paid late, or even mortgages, which again is great to see. I don't know how long this is going to go for. Um, Again, the economy is going to be impacted in a really big way, and the thing is, we've only started. We're only starting. Like, this is only the beginning of it, especially here in the U.S. Earlier today, FCC Chairman Ajit Pai, who I hate, I don't say that word a lot, but I do not care for this guy at all, released a letter encouraging providers of broadband and telephone services to join the pledge. The terms ask that companies commit to keeping service active for residential and small, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I mean, it's just companies being good to people, which, like, I'm glad to see. So they're going to directly waive late fees and maintaining accounts for residential and small business customers for the next 60 days. US Cellular also appears on the list of pledges published by the FCC, but no official announcements have been made by, and its COVID-19 page doesn't currently mention making any changes. T-Mobile has gone above and beyond. Hey, that's my carrier. With several additional steps to help out its customers for the next 60 days. I mean, anybody with a limited data plan will automatically get unlimited smartphone data. That's awesome. And mobile hotspot tethering users will get an additional 20 gigs. Note the hotspot portion is described as, quote, coming soon. Anyway, this is great. Great to see. I'm glad to see that. T-Mobile and Metro customers will also have free international calling to level 3 impacted countries, which includes much of Europe. I'm glad to see that. I'm glad, especially in times where we need to, like, keep in touch with people, and we need to keep in touch but stay away. The whole social distancing thing. So it's a good way to still keep connected with people. Verizon announced in a press release it'll be closing. Okay. Mint Mobile, free unlimited data. So it's decided to give out free unlimited data for all current and new subscribers through April 14th. Great. Sprint action. Sprint's enacting service additions for customers similar to what its imminent merger partner T-Mobile is offering. Sorry, it's a lot of talking. I can feel like my voice is like, da, da. This includes free calls to CDC. Okay, so Sprint's kind of jumping in, doing the same thing here, which is great. Low-income families participating in the 1 million project will get an additional 10 gigs of one hotspot data per month, raising the total allotment to 20 gigs until June 30th. That's great. In addition, T-Mobile is also giving Sprint customers free roaming access on its network for the next 60 days. Awesome. Awesome to see. Okay, JXT says, I personally don't mind the curved edges. I absolutely love my Note 10. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people are, you hate it or love it. I know I've had issues on my S9 Edge, on my S8 Edge. I prefer not to have them, but I think you either love them or you don't. JXT asked here, what are my top 10 phones? That is a very big question. I will tell you my favorite phones that I've had in the past is my Moto X Pure, my Nexus 6P. Those are my Nexus 6P I still own, but my Moto X Pure, my Nexus 6P, my Samsung Galaxy Nexus, those were three of my favorites. And the iPhone 11 Pro is my favorite right now. It's like my all-around phone that I've been very happy with. So G-Boy says the last Motorola I bought was the Moto X Pure. Yeah, man, I don't blame you, especially with things that have been with how they've been changing personally lately. Whatever. Sorry, a lot of talking. It's been 58 minutes and 2 seconds. So Krishna says curved phones have become less practical day by day as the phone manufacturers have failed us to sell the features tied to them. I mean, that's the thing. I never use the features. I know Mike, Simply Your Device, the guy that I stream with on Sundays, he actually uses some of those curved edge features. I feel like he's the only person I really know that uses them. So Marshall says, aside from closing retail locations, do you have any ideas of how tech companies could help the current situation? Well, at the beginning of this, Marshall, I don't think you were here, but I feel like as far as tech companies, I know that one thing that they want to do is get together and stop spreading misinformation. I think that's important. If we're talking about like retail locations like Apple, I know that Apple, before they were closing store locations, they were giving people unlimited sick days, right? If you felt sick, you didn't have to come into work. You didn't have to bring in a doctor's note. Again, these are big companies doing good things for humans. I don't know other than right now, right? Like helping the current situation is just making sure that there's no misinformation. That when you go to like a big site like Google or whatever, I think it is a responsibility for big tech companies to make sure that the information is correct and accurate and up to date. Um, I think the biggest problem that we face right now is that misinformation is spreading panic, um, and I think it again it's causing people to just have that kind of me mentality. Every man for himself. Like, dude, we're not animals, man. Like, we're not. Like, we can be good people, and we can be good to each other. I you know, that's how I feel about it. I don't know. That's my stance there. Um, George says, back to editing for me. Glad I was able to stop by. Great stream as always, Jerome. George, thanks for making it, man. It means a lot to me. Appreciate you stopping by. Appreciate the super chat again. Thank you so much. Thanks so much. Good luck with the editing. I look forward to seeing these 4K and 8K videos, man. Good luck. Okay, so God, it's just so much of this. Okay, so there's just so much of this like coronavirus stuff, and I don't mean to like sit here and just talk about it all day. So, but I feel like it's just going to be a topic that we're going to be seeing for a while. Like however long this plays out, I just don't know. People are saying it's going to be throughout the summer. So whether they they closed my gym today. The gym that I've been going to like 5 or 6 days a week, they closed it, and I ended up going to like some random park and just running up a hill and running down, and I felt like it wasn't a good enough workout, and like I'm just like, God, I'm gonna get fat in the next like 2 weeks or 3 weeks or however long they're gonna keep stuff closed. And I mean, I'm not, I just miss going to the gym. I miss like lifting weights, but I totally understand why they would close it. Okay, so speaking of closing, so the UK's largest chain of phone shops is permanently closing all 531 standalone stores. Thousands of jobs to be lost as Carphone Warehouse closes its stores. Crazy. Again, this is just going to happen worldwide, right? I'm not going to go through this whole thing because we pretty much know what's going on. Oh, here's a story. Hangouts. Do you guys remember Hangouts? Do any of you still use Hangouts? I do, because I have a lot of friends who don't want to leave Hangouts because they're just like, it still works. So why do I have, I'm like, it hasn't been updated in months. I don't, if I haven't read this article, but I think it's been at least 6 months since they've updated Hangouts. Hangouts sees rare update, removes location feature. To me, this just sounds like they updated it by removing something. I don't know. Google Hangouts is a service without much of a future. We were told so long ago. It continues to remain active, even if Google refuses to fix it, improve it, or make it into the app we were once promised. This is the most annoying thing for me because I felt like Google Hangouts had so much potential. I used Google Hangouts for years and years and years. I was able to put it on any phone. I connected a Google Voice number to it, so I was able to use Hangouts to talk to people through SMS, like on the web, all in Hangouts. Everything was there. And then they just stopped updating it. Like, have you guys ever tried to send video on Hangouts? Once you send that video on Hangouts and someone receives it, it looks like it was filmed on a potato. It looks awful, awful. And that was such a sore spot, and they never updated stuff like that. So let me see here what they did add, because I haven't read this. An update hit Google Hangouts and Android today, and after comparing it to the previous build, I can see that it no longer has the location sharing feature it has had for years. So they removed a feature for its update. That means if someone asks for your location, you won't see the easy smart share of it or be able to tap the icon to manually point to a spot. That sucks. I actually still use that damn feature. So did I. I have one cousin that when we like kind of go out of town or whatever, and we're like in separate areas, he'll always send a location to share. When is Hangouts going to officially die, and when will Google let us into Hangouts chat? Who knows, man? We thought that transition might go down months ago, but Google extended the life of regular Hangouts to at least June of this year. Should that move happen in June, we'll still likely have access as consumers for a while after that. Maybe Hangouts is here for the long haul after all. It's hard to support Hangouts when it hasn't been updated in forever, like annoyingly so, which has also put me in such a weird spot where I just don't have the same respect for Google as I once did. But that's not only because that was also because back in the day, Google used to be the like do no evil kind of deal, and now I just they to me they just seem like another big corporate company trying to make as much profit as possible, which is why like I feel like a lot of these side projects are going by the wayside, that they close because they're just not making money on it. And whoever their investors or whatever, for them it's about the money, man. Like I don't know. And it kind of leaves us in the dark with a lot of stuff, and it's disappointing. So that's how I feel about it. Krishna says, not all tech companies might be able to help, but tech giants can because their brand value is tied to their user base and they have a better reach. I agree. G-Boy, yeah, be good, folks. Agree. Krishna says, you can talk all day, Jerome. We're all home. I don't know. Are we all home? I mean, I'm glad that if you guys are able to work remotely, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. I know there's some people who still have to go out. My mom still has to go out. My mom's a nurse, and my mom's up there in age, and she goes out and she does a lot of home health stuff. My mom worked as a NICU nurse for 35 plus years and takes care of small babies. And there are some people who are still going out there to do stuff. I mean, I leave the house every day to come to the studio because as a news organization, we feel like it's important to report the news and report it fairly and all that kind of stuff. G-Boy says, Hangouts used to be my go-to. Yeah, me too, man. Google, send Jerome a check for the free consulting. Yeah, no, they're not going to give me a check. Krishna says Hangouts had so much potential in it, like all Google products. Agreed. They never marketed it in a proper way. Right when people started using it, Google abandoned it and is eventually going to kill it, which is such a sad thing because it was a great product. And in a lot of ways, it's still a great product. But I don't know. I don't know what's been going on with Google lately. Again, it just might be bottom line is profits for them. I don't know. G-Boy says, I agree with Brian. Send him a check. I mean, I'm not going to complain. I'll take a check, but it's not coming, guys. It's not. Okay, so I have this article from Android Community that says OnePlus 8 Pro. Sorry, ambulance. Chicago ambulance. There it goes. Oh, with a Chicago police van. Yeah. Okay. OnePlus 8 Pro shown off by Iron Man in public. The upcoming OnePlus, I have no idea what this is about. The upcoming OnePlus 8 series is something to anticipate. Two variants will be introduced: the regular OnePlus 8 and the OnePlus 8 Pro. Much has been said about the 2020 flagship phones from the Chinese OEM. The pair is expected to be introduced in the coming weeks, probably just before March ends. Not that we need further confirmation, but OnePlus cooked up something special. That is to get Robert Downey Jr., Iron Man himself, to show the new OnePlus Pro 8 phone. OnePlus is good on always trying to get a celebrity or something, right? Am I right? Didn't they have, during their one event, they had Emily, that supermodel, Radzichkowski, I don't know what her name is, to do something? I feel like these guys, they show off the OnePlus phones, but they never really use them. I always have this image that, and I'm sure other people have teased this too, like they'll show off the OnePlus phone, and then when they're done showing it off for whatever event they have to do, they'll put that phone away and then they'll pull their iPhone out. OnePlus never really settles, huh? Getting Iron Man is a smart move to promote the new flagship series. But does it really get that many people enticed? So because Robert Downey Jr. is showing off the OnePlus phone, is that, why not take that money and fix the camera at night, guys? You hear that, OnePlus? I don't know. Marketing, whatever. The photo of Downey Jr. was uploaded on Instagram, but has since been pulled out. Why is that? Robert Downey Jr. is OnePlus's ambassador. He has a Weibo account where he once posted some good words about his partnership with OnePlus. I didn't know that. The OnePlus 8 Pro is said to be equipped with a 6.65-inch Fluid AMOLED screen, 1440 by 3120 resolution, HDR10+, DCI-P3, 120 hertz image refresh rate. These are very high specs here. A punch hole in the front for the 32 megapixel facing camera. It'll run on a Qualcomm 865, Adreno 650, and 8 or 12 gigs of RAM with 128 or 256 gigs of onboard storage. When it comes to the camera department, sorry guys, somebody came in. Hello? Hey, oh, both of you guys, Kit and Dan. Sorry guys, the guys from my news team are here. We're gonna keep going. I got a couple more stories, so I know it's past the hour here, but um, when it comes to the camera department, it'll include the following: a 64 megapixel uh, f1.6 wide lens, a 1.6 aperture, 12 megapixel 2.4 telephoto lens, 20 megapixel 2.2 ultra wide lens. Hey, by the way, you guys can come through if you guys need to like do whatever. So I'm just chatting with the guys here. So okay. All right. Brian says Emily Hot Girl. Is that her last name? Emily Hot Girl? Yeah, you might be right there. Okay, so OnePlus 8 Pro. My question is, how much are these phones going to go for? That's what I'm wondering. How much are they really going to go for? These guys have been creeping up every year in price points, and I just don't know. I just don't know how high it's going to get. I guess at this point we wait and see, which is why I think they're also talking about the OnePlus 8 Lite, right? So I don't know. I don't know. And then this other article here from Android Police: OnePlus's March 18 branding reveal spoiled by Chinese trademark office. So OnePlus is rebranding, and are they rebranding in black and white? Corporate branding usually isn't anyone's jam, but it's part of how a company tries to convince consumers that buy its products that supposedly suited to their lifestyles. It is with this notion in mind that we report the brand makeover OnePlus will undertake on Wednesday. So Pete Lau posted a letter to the fans in the company's open forums announcing the new brand visual identity OnePlus will be using from March 18th. So it looks pretty similar except color. Oh, okay, this one is different. Um, Okay, so on March 18th, when we unveil the new brand, so it's already March 17th, it was already unveiled. We'll follow up here on the forum with more details about what's changing, what's staying the same, and what that means for the OnePlus brand. The letterhead featured a teaser image of how some elements of the new look would appear. Interesting. But according to multiple entries from the company to the Trademark Office of China's National Intellectual Property Administration, we see how the logo, the font, and a couple of accompanying lockups would look like. So it might not be okay. So it might not be black and white, right? It'll probably be red. Red Cable Club. That's interesting. That's pretty cool. Every time I see a red cable, I mean, that's the first thing I think of is like this is a OnePlus phone. Um, I think that was a great marketing move. So different, okay, just different fonts, whatever. Lau also hinted at broader changes besides the new look. Changes will cover when the time comes this week. I don't know what they're trying to get at. I don't know if this new logo is going to kind of are they saying this because they want to be more premium? Is that why they're doing this whole brand change? Is I that is to be seen, right? I guess we'll see tomorrow because I'm now kind of curious what it's all about or why they're doing that. Krishna, wait, I thought Iron Man died. Fake. Marshall, no, those guys need to get out. Um, yeah. Brian with the $2 super chat. Brian, thanks so much, man. Again, always appreciate your support. Always appreciate you stopping by. Always appreciate you commenting, replay crew, all that kind of stuff. Brian says, Jerome, I owe Apple money for his watch fund. Brian, you're fine, man. I just appreciate you coming by and supporting. It always means a lot to me. Always does. Brian, again, thanks so much. Thank you. Krishna says, what was wrong with the old logo? That red was all over their branding, the cables, the boxes, the cases, and all. Yeah, no, I agree. And are they going to keep it black and white or are they going to change that to red? I think red is their thing, or at least have red somewhere, right? Not just a black and white thing. That kind of throws me off there. G-Boy says new logo equals $1,000 price. Here's the thing: is that $1,000 price point is coming. It's coming. It's going to be either their pro version or whatever, but that's coming and it's coming soon. I don't know if it's going to come for the 8, but it might, especially if they're going to start coming out with light versions of their phones. Okay, so I got a couple more stories. I might kind of swing through this quick because my team's here now and like they got to get prepped and everything. And what are we at, an hour and 13 minutes? So TikTok encourage moderators to suppress content from those deemed ugly, poor, or overweight. Disgusting. First of all, TikTok. In a way, I am also not surprised, but disgusting. So, Chinese video sharing app TikTok once instructed its moderators to hide posts created by users it deemed to be ugly, poor, overweight, or disabled, according to documents obtained by The Intercept. Here's the thing: is if you guys aren't familiar with TikTok, right? TikTok's a social video sharing app, and it's used mostly by Gen Z. So by Gen Z, I'm talking about like people born after 96. I think that's what it is. Probably late millennials use it a lot too. And I think it's getting accepted into a lot of other things. But to see TikTok do some shady shit like that is it's pretty disgusting on their part as a company. It's not the first time media outlets have got their hands on these types of memos from TikTok's parent company, ByteDance. According to a 2019 report from Netspolitik, the company made previous efforts to censor the reach of those with visible or obvious disabilities. The memo specifically mentioned those with autism, Down syndrome, facial disfigurement, or, quote, disabled people or people with some facial problems such as birthmark, slight squint, and etc. And right, they do this kind of stuff because they feel like it's gonna, and like mind, they don't want it to fuck up their image, right? Because that's all they care about. They just care about that people keep signing up to the platform, and oh look, if you sign up with us, like you're just gonna get a bunch of hot people on here. Like fucking disgusting. Like don't be gross. That's the only reason I wanted to put this in here is it's just another company just trying to like flex what they can to maximize people to sign up and get them to. It's gross, guys. Man, that's the only reason I put that up here. Oh God, I forgot. We have this to talk about. So, okay, let's go through these. Not super quick, but I do want to just kind of make sure we cover it. So, the Google Pixel 4a to come with UFS 2.1 storage, speedier app loading. This is a good thing to see here. In a couple of months, Google's expected to unveil the new mid-range Pixel phones. The tech giant started to release Pixel A series last year with the Pixel 3a and Pixel 3a XL. This year, we'll get to see the Pixel 4a and 4a XL. So here are the renders. So here are some of the specs that I guess either are rumored or they're going to be for sure. I don't know yet. So it's going to use a Snapdragon 730. So it's not going to be an 800 series. 6 gigs of RAM. I'm glad to see 6 gigs of RAM. I think they were talking about 8 gigs as well, but 64 gigs of UFS 2.1. And I think there might be, I think I read something earlier that they were talking about putting 8 gigs of RAM on that too. For how much extra, I don't know. And what I'm hoping for is they even launch something that's going to have 128 gigs. Again, it's going to have USB Type-C. It's going to have a 3.5mm headphone jack, which is great. A rear fingerprint sensor, which is something that I sorely miss on my Pixel 4. I don't, they have not corrected their issue with the facial recognition on the Pixel 4, and their fingerprint reader was one of the best that I used, and I was sad to see that go, especially its placement. It was one of my favorite places, one of the best placements, I think, in my opinion, for a fingerprint reader, not only just for a fingerprint reader, but for the fact that you're able to like swipe down. I'm doing that little finger thing here, but you know what I mean. So let's look at the Pixel 5 because that's the other article I had here. So the Pixel 5 may not be considered as another flagship phone. This is from Android Community. I thought this was a little interesting. I haven't read it, but I know there were rumors that were saying that they might not use high-end specs for the Pixel 5, which I think they're either trying to save on price to make it more affordable, but part of me is also like, well, okay, so how much are you really marking these phones up for? Because there was one point you could buy a Pixel 4 today for $299 from Costco using T-Mobile, like $299. That phone was $800. So let's just read through this. So after the Pixel 4a series, expect Google to launch its flagship phone in the last quarter of the month. The newest Pixel phones are introduced every October, and we believe this year will be no different. Details are scarce at the moment, but we know Google Pixel 5 may come with an ultra low power mode function. An image of how the Pixel 5 phone could look like has been shown off. The phone was also mentioned on the Android and on AOSP, so somehow the latest information is legit. Google's next-gen Pixel 5 smartphones believed to come with a better Google camera app. The telephoto function may be coming back to a Pixel 5. The quote Bramble, I think that's the chipset, could also run on a Snapdragon 765. So they're gonna put the Pixel 5 on a Snapdragon 700 series. They're not gonna use the 800 series. So what are they gonna price this at? It's not gonna be 800 anymore. Are they gonna do 600? because I want to see what they could do at a $600 price point. What are they going to skimp on? What are they going to leave? And how good is this 765 chipset going to be? Is it going to be that much better than the 730 they're going to put on the 4A? Are they going to add an ultra wide camera on this? I just don't know where Google's headed in this direction. They want to make a flagship smartphone. They want to price it as one. They got to do better. They got to put better. They need to put better hardware on it. They dropped the ball on the 4. I'm sorry. That's how I feel. They dropped the ball on the 4, and I really feel like they really need to do better for the Pixel 5. So let me go through these comments here real quick because guys, I'm probably going to stop it from here because it's just I'm an hour 20 in, my team's here, and I got to move on. So let me see here. Krishna says, yes, bring back the OnePlus X series. I hear you, man. G-Boy says that'd be a flagship killer. Krishna says TikTok was the first wave of the virus that originated in China. I know TikTok was huge. I mean, and so like, again, if you guys don't know this, before I quit my job in California, I worked for a company, and one of our clients, I worked for a social media marketing company, and one of our biggest clients was TikTok. And those guys, TikTok spent a ton of money. Sean says narcissism is gross. It is, man. It is. It is one of these things in our society that just we need to nip these kind of things. And I know that we can't solve everything, but man, I feel like as even just myself and like sharing stuff, I feel like I could at least do my part, right? G-Boy says, wish they had the bottom speaker front firing and matching the design of the top speaker on the 4A. I would love that. Front facing dual speakers would be my thing. I would love that. G-Boy also says, yeah, bring back the rear fingerprint reader. I totally agree. Or one mounted to the side at least. I've never used one on the side. I wonder how good those are. I'd have to really test it out. Yeah, G-Boy says, yeah, I'd like to try a good side scanner. I haven't even tried one, to be honest with you guys. Brian says, agreed on the fingerprint sensor, but give me 2D face unlock for convenience. I can see that, like having that option, right? And like letting people know it might not be the most secure thing. Better hardware or keep the prices low. Agreed. Better throw a huge battery in there too for the new Pixels. Again, totally agree. That was my biggest gripe with the Pixel 4, amongst other things, but that was a huge gripe. Krishna with the $2 super chat. Krishna, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Again, for everybody who supported and going that extra length there with the super chats, I do appreciate that. Krishna, thank you so much. Thanks for making the chat or the stream. Always glad to have you guys here and to know that it helps me continue doing my thing. Brian says Krishna gets the comment of the day. TikTok equals nasty, especially after Jerome's report. It is, yeah. Okay, guys. So with that said, I am going to end the stream here. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream today. It's a little longer. I enjoy doing these things. It's something that I've actually been toying about doing on a daily basis, but I just don't know if the time will allot for it. I do like this later time frame. I might start it maybe half hour earlier because my team gets in around this time. So, to accommodate so that, we're not like crisscrossing spots here. I might do it a little earlier. Might not do it first thing in the morning, but a little later in the day. We'll see. We're still in testing modes here, and I'll figure that out. But again, guys, thank you so much for making it. Hope you enjoyed going through the news as much as I do. It's always interesting for me, especially just reading stuff that I haven't even been privy to, because again, I don't know everything. Reading this helps me learn more, but also going through the comments and even like the rollable phones that Marshall talked about today. I had no idea that was a thing. That's awesome. I'd love to see how that turns out. It actually might seem a little more feasible or efficient than what the foldable phones have, but I don't know. We'll see. So, all right, guys, I am ending the broadcast here. Look for me on right? Today's Tuesday. Yeah. Look for me on Thursday. Probably won't be at 9 a.m. Eastern. It might be a little later, either late morning or early afternoon, but I'll let you guys know. So again, I'll see you guys Thursday for another episode of TNT Joe-Fi. I will talk to you guys soon. Have a good one. I am ending the broadcast.